Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Glad you could join us.
Yes. Welcome. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome back.
Yes.
It wasn't too long ago. I don't think it was too long ago when we did a podcast on life is hard.
Oof. Yep. We've done.
Sometimes life is hard. I don't know. Do you guys
Yes.
agree with
Yes.
that? Life
Yeah.
can just be going right along, and then all of a sudden it like hits you in the
Yeah.
face or upside the head or
Yes. Yes.
knocks you down from the backside.
I don't think it can be talked about enough from just having those conversations. I don't think the conversations can happen enough.
I agree because it can happen in so many different ways and in absolutely every area of
Yes.
life,
Yeah.
right?
Just when you think everything's going well. And we do have those periods where
Mhm.
work is going well, our relationships are going well, we feel good, everything is just like just going along and everything's great. And I think that's just sneeze. I think that's just that spirit allowing us a rest period
Agreed.
to say, you know what, you've done so much work, you're plodding through life, even if you're not knowingly on your spiritual journey and you're not knowingly healing and doing all those things, we still are doing all those things and life gets
Absolutely.
rough. So
Hmm.
just kind of says, you know what, we're going to give you this 24-hour period of
Hmm.
just rest.
Sometimes it's only 18 hours and then you
Like those old bras, 18-hour
Woo.
comfort or
Yeah,
whatever those were.
yeah, exactly.
Sorry for all the men out there, but
Exactly.
yeah,
And even life being hard, I mean, that doesn't mean it has to be like knock down, drag out hard,
right.
right? It can be as I don't want to say insignificant because being insecure is not
No,
insignificant at all,
no.
but feeling insecure
Yes.
and feeling insecure
Mhm.
within ourselves, right? That affects our self-worth.
Yeah. And what to go along with that,
Hmm.
the bypassing that can happen during that insecurity. So we want to, it's almost like I'm going to will myself to feel good, or I'm just not going to look at those things because I want to be good and great. I mean, that's yes.
Well, I just had a flash of me at one point in my life. I feel insecure, so I'm going to be bold. I'm going to be bolder
Yes.
than
Yes.
I'm going to be bolder than fits the situation.
Yes, that's a good way to say it. Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely.
Hmm.
I this brings up I had um I worked with someone. I was going to say a friend, but she really it was, a work friend, whatever. This was years and
Sure.
years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
There were days when she would come in with, like, I don't know if she put fake lashes on or just put like double the mascara or whatever, but you always knew when she was feeling a little insecure because she would come in with, like, when you looked at her, all you saw were the eyes, and
Yeah.
that was her way of just saying, I'm not going to deal with my crap today. I just need to get through this. And that's what she would do. But it was very noticeable.
So interesting. I wonder, was that her way of bypassing,
Yeah.
or was she simply coping?
Ooh, now there's a good question. So, well, what's the difference between bypassing and coping? That would be, I'm throwing that back at you.
Yeah.
You brought it up, sister.
So
Yes.
what's coming is coping is what you do to get you through a particular situation,
Uh-huh.
like going to work.
Yes.
I'm getting ready in the morning and I get hit with something. I get hit with an insecurity and I'm like, oh my God, if I look at this, it's going to take me down and I will not be able to go to work today.
Okay.
I have to go to work. I'm going to make myself feel better. I'm getting out my eyelashes.
Yeah. So I'm coping by,
I'm going to look good
yes,
to help me feel better. I'm going to go to work. And when I come home tonight, I've got to face this.
yes. Okay, so coping would be in the moment. I really need to get through. So I know there's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
What can I do right now? I have this thing I have to do, and I cannot fall apart right now. I can't do it. So I'm going to doll myself up and just smile my way through it, or whatever
Yep.
that coping mechanism is. And
Yep.
then bypassing is, nope, that's the truth.
She's my eyes.
Yes.
Put on this pretty dress.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
gonna I'm gonna shake that off.
That's right. Yes. And that continues.
And that continues.
Continues until that thing that you don't want to think about, you're not thinking about.
Right.
Right? So
And then
that's the definition or the difference between the two.
yep.
Coping is, you know, it's there and you're going to come back to it. It just cannot be right now.
Cannot be right
You
now.
don't afford to let this happen right now.
Mm-hmm.
Where bypassing is, I'm just going to ignore it till it goes away.
Yep.
Yeah, I've done both.
Or at least until it throws me down the stairs.
Yes, which it eventually will. As
Eventually. Yeah.
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 Well, and then there's, what about triggers? What about being triggered? Well, I guess that would be the reason, that would be for, the trigger would be the reason for either the bypass or the coping. Being triggered.
Well, yes.
Yes.
Because you would be triggered. Something would trigger that insecurity, right?
Right.
So there leads us there into another scenario. I'm not going to cope.
Right.
I'm not going to bypass. I'm
Right.
going to live in this trigger.
Oof. Yeah. All those are all three options that could happen with triggering too.
Yes.
I mean, that's really,
yep.
Yeah. And then there is, throw another one in here. Sometimes we get triggered and we react and we really don't know that we've been triggered. When we have that adoptive thinking around a certain wound, even trauma. So the trauma happens and the wounding is after the trauma. So I know some people are like, well, and I get it, that they've, what's the difference between trauma and wounding? And sometimes you can just be wounded and there's no trauma connected to it. So they're really kind of different things, but the wound is what's left after whatever event happened. And whether that event was really traumatic or not, or the different levels of trauma, because there's always some trauma there, but it's just the different levels. And then you end up with this gaping wound.
Right.
Sometimes they're a little smaller, but oh crap, I just went over and forgot what I was gonna say about being triggered. Oh, sometimes not knowing. That's what it was.
Not knowing. Sure.
We do that all the time. I mean, that's well, I've actually done that this week.
Yeah.
I did that this week. Without telling anyone else's story, because we really try to not do that. I want to tell my stories without telling everyone else's story. Mm-hmm. I had someone that I know, someone that I've known for a long time. Those are always the people that, can really poke at your
Mhm.
wounds. And I didn't realize, so I was upset with that person, and I didn't realize, boy, there were so many layers to it too. So I didn't realize that I was triggered, and I was thinking, well, this is the why. Or when I'm sure it was you, I'm sure you stepped in and said, trigger much? Or you said something that got me. Oh crap, okay. Okay, so there's something going on here. And then I think you got triggered by I think you were able to see that I was triggered. It didn't affect you right away.
Mm-mm.
There was a big, we've had a hell of a week. There was a
It has been.
viral thing that happened.
I'm
From
gonna say it was bigger than I think I realized.
Absolutely, for me as well.
Mhm.
It really brought up an insecurity of mine. And being the beautiful friend that you are, you listen to me and you also say, hey, you're kind of triggered here. That let me know that, oh, okay, I have some wounding here, I have some insecurities that are coming up. And then at some point of me being in that space, that
Mhm.
the vibration, the energy of that at some point triggered your insecurities,
Yep.
which is what happens. I mean, that's a normal thing. And
Yeah.
really, yeah. And we
Yeah.
really didn't know all of this. So you all know, we say it all the time. We get on here and we start talking. We get on Zoom, and before we hit record, we have a bunch of stuff we always talk about. And
Mhm.
it all sort of came out just spewing out this morning
Yeah.
that we both were um, bothered by this. So for me, I got triggered by this person, um, triggered my, and again, I don't want to say too much because their story is not the story I want to tell, but they're a certain type of person. They have certain wounding, etc. And when especially when you grow up with people, they can trigger you like no one else can, because it's
Oh boy, yes.
you all of a sudden end up in that same energy as them. Like
Mhm.
you were kids again. Like I was.
And you get pulled back into that old, that
Yes.
young energy, that energy of when you're younger.
Yes.
Yeah.
And those all of a sudden, so when you don't, that's a good, okay. So when you don't heal that stuff,
Mhm.
we're still working with a 10-year-old brain or a 5-year-old brain, or whenever that was that originally happened, or the time frame that it happened in.
Exactly.
When you come up with that, when you start seeing that person, when that comes up and you get triggered, because you didn't heal it, because you didn't grow from it, because you didn't learn from it and evolve, it takes you right back. You haven't done the work yet. So here I was in a 10-year-old's brain, and the emotions that went along with it,
Mhm.
trying to navigate that in my now adulthood.
Mhm.
That was, certainly did some bypassing. I I bypassed sort of the deeper meaning and what the opportunity that this presented to me, I was bypassing.
Mhm.
That's definitely, now that one I remember you saying to me. Now that one you definitely pointed out and said, Pam, this is an opportunity for you.
Mhm.
Yeah. Sometimes we use the word test, but it's really not a test. It's an
Yeah.
opportunity.
Opportunity is such a better, it's just a better word, because
Yes.
test feels so negative. Like, we
Yes.
can fail at a test.
Yep. Yes. We don't fail out of life. There's no
Don't
fail.
fail out of life.
There's
And
no
you can't fail at an opportunity, because if you don't take the opportunity,
right.
it's going to come back around. It may look different, but it's going to come back around.
Yep. So we
Yeah.
can see it.
Yeah.
so we can see it. Sometimes we have to see things in 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different ways before we can
And then you got to see it from the top and the bottom. Well,
yes,
I
and
sometimes I do.
then
You know,
the garage comes. So
yeah.
how do we know? We've brought this up before, but I really think it's worth talking about again. At least for myself, I could certainly stand talking about it again. How do we know when we're triggered? How do we know that something's been triggered and we're not just irritated by life? Because life happens. Not
Right.
you have said this very brilliantly, and I should probably let you say it. Just that not every time we get upset does that mean that we have wounding there.
Right. Because
Yeah.
we can get irritated without there being wounding behind it. I
Yes.
don't know what I said, but that was so brilliant.
It was brilliant.
Um, but no, wounding is not behind absolutely everything that we experience. But if we're triggered, so the very simplest way would be, does my reaction fit the situation?
Right. Right.
Another way is, how involved is my ego
Yes.
in my reaction to this situation?
Yes.
Um, and by how strong is my reaction? That can go both ways. Am
Yeah.
I reacting or am I collapsing?
Oof.
I'm
Yeah.
not reacting. Am I retreating even?
Retreating. Perfect word. Yes.
Because shutting down, retreating, that's just as big a reaction as totally going off the rails and exploding.
Yes. Yes.
So,
I was
does my reaction fit the situation?
yes.
How involved is my ego? How long do I hold on to it?
Yes. And how long? Yes.
Mm,
And what's
how
also
long do I
coming,
stretch it out?
yes. What was coming now is when my grandson was here. There is, I haven't had that small of a child in my house for a long time, and of course he comes over a lot now, which I love. I love playing Nona. Um, I didn't realize he could get into this one cabinet, and I should know that. And he's a very curious little boy, just like his dad. And so I have to move everything. My house is just a disaster because everything gets moved up where he can't get to it. He goes, so he went back. He had gotten to this little drawer, and I told him no, and I moved him away, and I just put everything back and shut it back up again. And then he went back to it
Mhm.
because duh, that's what he's gonna do. He's curious. And
Yep.
especially since someone told him he can't, he wants,
Yep.
you know.
Yep.
So then I moved him away again. And instead of getting mad at him for doing what, I mean, he's not even a year and a half now, doing what his little brain is, instead of getting mad at him, I just moved the stuff. It's like, okay, Pam, does it really have to? I mean, you don't really have to have, like, why?
Right.
So that was an irritation, is what I'm trying to get. It was irritating, and there was a little fear there. I didn't want him to get hurt. And I didn't want the stuff to get broken
Right.
either. Like it was just so that would be like an irritate. That would be every day. It's like, oh, dude, I just told you to get out of there. And now, but that wasn't a trigger because I left it there and I just created a solution without getting upset with him,
Mhm.
without, you know, when Nona gets mad at him, when grandma gets mad at him, he, it really hurts him because it's horrible. Oh my God, I can't live. It doesn't happen often, but it happens because I have to tell him no sometimes. There are things,
Yeah.
you have to say no. But I chose to just move everything. So it was an irritant, but I didn't get triggered. Now, the trigger would have looked, I would have maybe, possibly, yelled at him, maybe slapped his little hand, slammed the stuff back, got really, and and pushed him over. I mean, there are a lot of things that could have happened had it somehow triggered something in me. I'm very grateful that didn't happen. I'm very patient.
Right.
And
What
I never
came
slap his little hand.
what came while you were saying that is, how can we how can we distinguish
Yes.
if a trigger is from wounding
Mm-hmm.
or adopted behavior?
Ooh,
So, for example,
yes.
little one's getting into something
Yep.
and you slap their hand.
Right.
Is that a trigger of fear or lack of control?
Yes.
Or
Could be. Sure.
or is that a knee-jerk reaction because that's what you've learned, that's what
Right.
you do?
Right. Okay, so I'm going to use another sort of, okay, so in my family growing up, and I think this is a lot, we've talked about this before, shaming.
Yep.
That
Yep, yep,
is
yep, yep.
such a way to control
Yep, yep, yep.
people, especially your children. I'm going to shame you into doing what I want you to do so I'm not uncomfortable. And then you're going to learn or whatever.
Yep, yep, yep.
My mother did that to me when my kids were real small. I did that, not real small, but even growing up, I did that to them.
Mhm.
As we all know, I've talked about it. Once I realized, talk about the shame when I realized what I did. And I've healed that. I've healed that with both of my sons as well,
Right, which is beautiful.
yes, yes.
Absolutely beautiful.
So I know personally that that was not adopted. Like, so at one time, had I not healed all that, I could have shamed my little boy somehow, however that would have looked at it.
Right,
But I could have, no,
right.
you're not, and had that real droopy face that, no, you're not supposed to, like shamed him into that. That's part of that was wounding. Part of that was, I just adopted that from my family. That's what they all did. And I mean, all of them, siblings,
Yeah,
everything. We
yeah.
all learned really well how to be
Out
shaming.
of shame. Yep, 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 yep.
Yes. But
Mhm.
so how do we, so the different, then let's talk, yeah. So that's
Yeah.
the situation, but
So, as you were talking, what was coming around, that scenario, is that wounding or was that adopted? Well, the answer is yes.
right,
It's both.
yes. And sometimes, as we know, because this actually just came up this week, didn't it? Healing, I've healed some wounds, but there was still some adopted thinking around it.
Yes.
I still had that. And when we say adopted thinking, that's I need, we should probably explain adopted thinking.
Adopted thinking.
Adopted emotions even happens.
Yeah. So that's something that I'm going to say we almost learn by osmosis, right?
Yes, I agree with that.
It's you hear as a child over and over and over again, don't be stupid.
Oh,
Don't be stupid. Don't be stupid.
yes,
But what we adopt is,
I'm
I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid.
yes,
That's adopted thinking,
yes,
an acquired emotion.
yes,
A lot of anger is acquired.
yes,
When we witness anger happening around us and we just believe that that's acceptable, that's
yes.
normal, that's just how it's
Well, and
supposed to be.
people around, oh, just, when he gets like this, just let him be angry, just whatever. That's just who he is.
It's just who he is.
You hear that a lot. So we don't
Yeah.
help that at all. Those,
No,
not always.
not always.
Something very small of adopted thinking too could be like, maybe someone told me, that you don't look good in pink. You should probably wear something else. And then just going through life, oh, I don't really like pink, or I don't like, somehow that became adopt. Why are you covering your eyes?
Happened to me.
Oh, okay. Do tell. I mean, if you want to.
But it was reversed,
Okay.
right? I was told, you look really good in that color pink. You should wear that more often. And what I heard was, you stick out in this color pink. You should
Oh,
never wear this. You're bringing attention to yourself.
okay.
You are being arrogant. You are,
Not very humble.
no,
No humility there.
no humility there. I took it and I twisted it.
Yeah.
Um,
From
and
now, that twisted turning thing typically comes because you get triggered by a wound. There's a wound there somewhere, something you need to learn, whatever. There's a lesson, something in it, but we twist it and then it becomes a doc. And this, yeah, yep.
yep. So in a compliment,
Uh-huh.
my insecurity got triggered.
Right.
I twisted that and created my own adopt.
Yeah.
So it still isn't adopted, because that's what I heard was, you're being oh my God, what's that word? Vain.
Thing.
You're being very vain by wearing that shirt.
So this happens a lot, and
Yes.
you all can, I'm sure there are times when, how many times has your partner, your friend, your whoever say, that's not what I said? How many times have we all heard that? That's not what I said.
A billion.
And then and it's like, and they're, you said that I don't look good in pink. And they're like, no,
Nope.
that's not what I said. I said, I'm not sure if that pink goes with those green pants. I'm like, it could be something completely like, but what I heard was something else.
Yep.
And that's how that's when you stop and you look in. Oh, so why did I hear it that way?
Mm-hmm.
People ask, of course, in our sessions a lot, well, what do I do? How do I know? You stop and you go, why did I hear that way? What
Mm-hmm.
is that? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you're like, I grew up with a mother who, I mean, she was master manipulator, gaslighter, because she was so, um, and you really get confused when when you are raised with someone gaslighting you, you have adopted thinking all over the place, along with wounds and whatever, because gaslighting is just horrific. That is just horrific.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, thanks. But a lot of us so a lot of you who are listening know exactly what I'm saying when I talk about like being gaslighted. Then there's that. So a lot of crazy adopted weird thinking comes from gaslighting. That's just coming now. That's just coming now. So for those of us who've been gaslit a lot, working out that way of that convoluted, because it's so convoluted that you really have to work that out, and you start second guessing yourself and you start wondering, did I really say that? Maybe I didn't say that. Are you sure? I thought I heard. And then even though you're the victim, you're the one that apologizes, because they're able to flip it around on you that you are the one that was wrong. There's a lot to unpack there for some of us. Yeah. But any adopted thinking there is really that, and that's not, there really is. But for those of you who grew up with a narcissistic parent, or maybe have a narcissistic partner or something where you've been conditioned to question yourself all the time, it's going to be a little well, you chose it because you wanted to learn it, but there's
Yep,
a
you
lot
did
of
sign up for it.
yep, you did.
Yep.
It's a lot more unpacking to do around that adopted. First, you just have to get it straight, who said what, and then you can get into the actual adopted thinking portion.
Right. Right.
But we all do it. But yeah, taking a moment and saying, okay, let me unpack this, and let me, without, oh, and here's another thing I think you might, and you can just tell me if you think this is right. Sometimes when that happens, we need to be left alone with our own thoughts for a while to just, okay, what was really said, what wasn't. Like, we need time to think about it.
Yes. What also comes is it's important and not always easy to sit with it and look at it without judgment.
Oh, yes, without the judgment.
Without judgment. Judgment of the other person,
Yeah.
because you're not really clear.
Mm-hmm.
Really important, without judgment of yourself.
Yes. Yes.
That's crucial in allowing healing to come and clarity to come too, because if we're judging ourselves, we're going to block the
Yeah.
truth.
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah.
Ooh. And then there's just, again, full on bypassing. I'm just not gonna look at. I'm just refusing to look.
Just refusing to look. I want to say one more thing about adopted thinking,
Yes,
because
please.
it's not always stuff from childhood.
Nope.
As adults, we can and very often do stake our opinion on something somebody said once,
Yes.
something we read on a billboard,
Yep.
something that in a moment's, in just a moment's time, it sticks with us,
Yeah.
makes us feel in control,
Yeah.
and we can adopt that as our own belief
Yes.
without even exploring it.
Yes. And I will add some, if there's adopted emotion with it, that's a whole nother, maybe not a whole nother beast, but that's another beast.
Definitely adds another
Because we
food
can
layer.
have a big reaction to something, and that's all adopted. I know I know I've done that. Like, what? I get wait a minute. Wait, what? Hold on. What? 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 Wait, I healed this crap. What's happening? Oh, this is just the, like, I need to get rid of this now. I no longer need to react in this way. There's no wounding in there anymore. I've done that. Been there, done that, whatever. And
Yep.
I'm ready to, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's a lot of crap. Yes. So is your reaction, what'd you say? Something about, does it fit?
Does it fit the situation?
That's how you know. And then,
Yeah.
and there's also, I think, we're gonna have to come up with we've used the word trigger for so long, but it's also become one of those things you're starting to hear it everywhere, and they're using it in a little
Right.
term, a little off.
A little off. Yeah.
Yes.
It's like one off.
Right, right. But
Yeah.
yeah, but triggered is not just angry either. That at one point, I
Mm-mm.
think that's what people thought. I can remember saying to someone about being triggered, and they're like, "Well, I'm not angry." Like, I didn't say you
Yeah.
were.
No.
That's not what that means.
Triggered is any emotion. Emotion, is that the right word? I think so. Any emotion that you experience outwardly or inwardly that is unproportioned to whatever the event was,
Yes.
and there's wounding underneath of it.
Yes. Here's another thing that just came up that I hear a lot, because we use the term fear for a lot of things.
Yes.
And how many times have I heard, I'm not scared. I'm not, this isn't fear. I'm not, this is, and so I'd like to kind of talk about that a little bit, about sort of define what we mean.
About fear is not fear is not fear is not fear.
Correct. Correct. So we've talked, so here, there's really two main vibrations that everything lives in. It's either fear or love.
Yes.
Fear or love. This is true, especially true with paranormal work that we do. But but in you have fear and you have love. Anytime, and really, so anytime you get triggered, there is somewhere in there a seed of fear. Fear of something
Yes.
to happen, fear of doing something, fear something's going to happen to you, fear, like it's really fear.
It is fear.
Anything of the lower vibration that's in
Mhm.
that vibration
Mm-hmm.
is fear.
What's coming is that it's fear. It in very basic, it splits into two things: fear of it affecting my self-worth, or fear of it affecting my safety.
Woof. Yes. 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 And that's
Mhm.
really, you take it all the way down to the bottom of that wound, and it's almost always about safety, um, insecurity, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Is that the word you used?
No, self-worth.
Self-worth. Yes. Okay.
Self-worth,
Which is
insecurity,
okay. Yeah. Yeah.
same thing.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
I think you're right. I think every wound
Yeah.
comes down to both of those things. While they're different,
Yes. They live in the
they
same.
live together.
Yeah. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. So I mean, that's so yes, when we talk about fear, oh, fear is coming up. Fear is a liar. Fear, 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 fear. I don't think we always see everything in that. That's our verbiage that we use, and not everyone uses that, and people do get confused at times. And I
Sure.
completely understand why they get confused at times.
I don't.
What? Yes.
Miss
Oh,
black and white thinker over here.
yes. Yes, you are. Not as much. There's a lot more gray.
I've gotten much better.
Yes.
I have
Not
gotten
gray
much better.
like on my head gray. All of it.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
gray.
getting
I am
more
gray. You have a
anyway.
little, not quite like mine, but anyway. So, woo, yes, what a week we've had.
Yeah.
I have had all of that come up this week. Trauma, wounding, triggers, insecurity, fear,
Bypassing.
bypass. Oh, bypassing. Yes,
Bypass. Can we talk about bypassing a little bit?
of course.
I don't think we've talked too
We
much
have
about
to.
bypassing today,
Mhm.
but bypassing comes in so many shapes and forms,
Yes, it does.
and we can
Uh-huh.
consciously bypass.
Yep.
A lot of times, though, we are subconsciously bypassing
Yep.
because somewhere
Yep.
we know we're going to have to look at something we don't want
Yep.
to look at. And, um, somebody's talking and you go, la, 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 la. Don't hear.
Uh-huh.
Okay, you're bypassing.
Yes.
You're bypassing.
Or how about before we hit record, we're talking, and I'm finding all kinds of things to do. I gotta go fill my water. I gotta go to the bathroom. Oh, I gotta do this. I gotta do that. I'm finding all sorts of things to do. And
True.
yes,
True.
yes. And you're like, bypassing, bypassing, bypassing.
Bypassing.
And then I have to
Bypassing.
look at it and go, okay, what is it that I don't want to talk about today?
And at the same time, your bypassing, sometimes I will take personal and it will trigger me.
Yes, yes, yes.
And her bypassing, I don't think has anything to do with me,
No, no.
other than I'm the one sitting here going, let's push record.
So is that irritation or is that triggered?
It has, I have to think there first, for a
It's
second.
not always the same though.
It's not always the same, and it doesn't always trigger me. But what I'm thinking of, okay, does it really honestly irritate me?
Oh.
And if I'm honest, I have to say not very often, because then I don't have to bypass.
Touche.
Yeah. Yeah. Because if you're doing it for me, I don't have to. I can
Just sitting there watching me squirm.
Oh man.
Yes.
But it's honest. There are times where I'm like, okay, I can just sit here and relax and not worry about it, because I know she's just, she'll come around and I don't have to bypass. I can prepare myself.
Here's what I'm not bypassing. Here's what just came to mind is I used to be late all the time. I was always late. Not I shouldn't say always. There were times when I'd even be early. But when I think back, what got me to change that was someone said, being late is such a selfish thing to do. And that got me thinking about it. Why am I being so selfish? What is this? Well, because I don't want to do that thing that I'm going to do, or I just want to be home longer, or there's something. So that's a form of so I would just bypass. Oh, I have this to do. I have that to do. I have this and this and this. And then I'd show up late and I'd blame the kids. They couldn't get themselves together or whatever. Yes. So that's
Okay.
a form of bypassing. And it is very selfish. Bypassing can be very
Okay.
selfish. Very, very. I'm only thinking of me. I'm not thinking of you. When I'm sitting here finding 15 things to do instead of pushing record, I'm being very selfish. I am bypassing because I don't want to do it, and I'm not taking your feelings into consideration. And I'm so sorry. That just really came to me, that how selfish bypassing can be.
Thank you. Never thought about it.
I didn't either till just now. Thank you, Spirit.
That whole being late thing.
Yeah.
That's so interesting that your being late was bypassing.
Yes.
My habit of being late was all about control.
Okay. Well, both are very selfish. We're not thinking of
Very selfish.
other people who are waiting for us, who can't do something till we get there, whatever that is. We're
But
not thinking of anyone else.
but I am thinking of the other person and how I can control them by
Ooh,
being
ouch.
late.
Yuck.
Yeah.
I gotta say, that's pretty icky.
I had a job and that's exactly what I did.
Oh, wow.
Now I wasn't typically very late.
Right.
But I was never on. Very rarely was I on time.
Because your control, you having them wait for you made you feel in control, or you knew that they had to wait for you. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that would be another. Sure.
So that's.
No, I just didn't think of people. I didn't think that.
Yeah, no, mine was very manipulative.
Yes, ma'am. You don't do that anymore.
So was that then a form of bypassing my wounding?
Oh, sure. Control is, yeah. Because what I would say to that is you have a wound that makes you feel unsafe. So to make yourself feel safe, you have to take control of a situation. And your way of taking control of a situation is by making people wait for you, because whatever that insecurity is from that wound, if like just say, oh, I happen to be 10 minutes early every day. Well, that makes me feel insecure that I don't know, I'm not good enough. They're getting something that why should they get that extra 10 minutes? Like, that's all that nasty, convoluted thinking. Control issues, we see control issues a lot. People feel so out of control within, they try to control everything around them. And definitely, yes. And now that you say that, I had a friend, and she and I would go, and I always say friend like that. She was, at the time, I guess I thought she was a friend. So I'll give myself a pass on that. And we would go, there was this Italian restaurant that we liked to go to. The pizza was fabulous. And Dina Cola's.
Oh my gosh, Dina Cola's pizza was
yes. Oh my gosh, so good. I have no idea anymore, but you know, yeah, 30, 40 years ago.
Still so,
I know. So good. So good. Lots of garlic too. They were not shy with the garlic, which
I have to say 45 years ago.
Yeah. Okay. They've been there a long time. It was so good. And she and I, we were friends or whatever, like late teens. We weren't, I don't think, quite old enough so I don't think we were like 21 yet. But anyway, 18, 19, whatever. And we would go have pizza. And then she would sit, and they had a little bowl of those little dum-dums, those little sucker dum-dums. And she would sit there, and we'd go get pizza, and then we'd be going to a movie. And I'm like, okay, let's go. Let's get to the movie. And she would sit there and she'd pick up every freaking dum-dum in that thing and look at it and then put it down. And then pick up another one, look, and oh my God, it used to drive me crazy. I look back now and it's like, wow, she was controlling. But it was because she felt so out of control for whatever her wounding was. I have no idea. I haven't talked to her in 40 years, so I don't know. But yeah, so that's a form. But again, that's very selfish. She was not considering me at all. So I don't know if she was trying to control me. I don't know, and I'm not going to look into it. But there was something going on there with control and just downright being selfish. But I remember that God, I would get. Yeah. So I wasn't triggered by it. No, okay. So I wasn't triggered by it, but it was definitely an irritation.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 Now, I have always been a very selfish person. I have learned, though, to not be, although I still very much can be, but.
Well, we all kind of can be.
And that selfish, that I always knew that wasn't, no new news to me. But when I finally realized how controlling I was, what my control issues, I was floored, dumbfounded, embarrassed, beyond, because
yes, it's horrible, isn't it, when you talk about shame.
No.
Yes.
And
I was so embarrassed when the whole, being late is just selfish. Oh man. And I was good at shaming myself. So that was an easy.
Oh, sister. Yeah.
I learned well.
With shame.
Yes.
Personal.
Yes. Yeah.
I got a PhD. What's beyond a PhD? I don't know. I got a PhD in shame. I tell you what.
Yes. Yeah. I've said before, my my mother was Olympic level manipulator. So she was, yes. And used shame. So yeah, I know it well. I know how it feels. I know how to use it. I know how to manipulate other people with it. Thankfully, I have healed much of that wounding, and I no longer do that. That's such, oh, okay. I can tell you that I'm not feeling shame right now, but I can feel the feeling that I had when, it took years working on that. And
I am not feeling the feeling at all because I'm bypassing it.
oh, really? I don't
I
know
don't
about that. You've done a lot of work, sister. I don't know if you're really bypassing.
blocking it. I don't want to feel, because I don't feel shame right now,
Right.
but I don't want to feel the feeling that I felt.
Right.
Don't want to go there.
Don't want to bring that up.
There
Don't
is
want to bring it up. That
fear,
makes sense.
too much fear that it will trigger real shame.
Yeah.
Talk about not trusting my healing.
Yes. But we don't want, shame is a horrible feeling. I don't want to bring that
It
back.
is. It is a horrible feeling.
Now, you said something, you said blocking. So,
Yep.
and I get in the way that you said it, that blocking, but I want to talk about blocking in a different way.
Okay.
I want to talk about, because I want to talk about, whether it's clients or whoever come to us and say, I just feel blocked. Like I need to get a jump start. I need to whatever. I feel blocked, like I can't move forward. Sometimes that's not a block. Sometimes spirit closed that door, is trying to get you to turn and go in a different direction. So sometimes what you consider to be a block, all of us, and I'm talking to all of us when I say you, that
Yes.
not just Mari-Lyn,
So it's more like a dead end.
a dead end. Like, okay, so, well, I guess that could be even here. Is that a block, or is spirit saying,
Ooh.
you're done there, sister, you don't need to go, right? Right. So that's what I think that is. So maybe it is this situation. Spirit's like, you're done. You don't have to go there. You don't have to feel it or anything. You can just remember it. There's
You know
nothing
what that's like. You don't have, oh
memory.
my goodness.
But spirit closes the door sometimes for us. Lesson learned, contract cut up, signed, delivered, done. And we don't have to go there anymore.
Right.
So sometimes, and so that works both ways in this situation and in a situation where we feel like we can't go forward, we can't go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And there can be an energetic piece to that. Clearly, we can go in and help you unplug yourself from that, to
Right.
see that all you need to do is turn around and there's another door right over there, or an archway or something.
True, because even if spirit has closed that door and we're continually banging our head on it,
Yeah,
there
I
is
do
going
that
to
a
be
lot.
an energetic
Yes. Yes.
pile.
Like, why so badly do I think that I have to go in that direction?
Right.
Why am I not seeing the sun that's coming in over here and the rainbow that's over here, and whatever? Why do I not see that the 15 other paths if I would just turn around? But I have to go through that one, damn it. Yes.
The one I'm not supposed to go. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. That
Yeah.
you just don't have to continue to do. Now, that brings up another, man, what a conversation today. That also brings up when there's a lesson sometimes in spirit. Okay, you can keep walking through this door. All right, come on, keep walking. All right. Sometimes there's a lesson in not doing the same thing over and over again. Like, sometimes that's our lesson. So we keep opening, spirit lets us open that door and walk through over and over and over and over again. And we don't get it's that banging your head against the wall. Like, I'm not getting the results, but I'm going to keep going through.
I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna keep
Yeah.
doing it.
Yes. And so spirit is telling us, look at this, look at this. This is something that you do. This is some wounding, some adopted thinking, some something. But on the flip side, sometimes spirit closes the door and that's your block. It's not
It's
really a block. It's an opportunity.
opportunity, exactly.
Yeah.
Just turn around and look.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's so many paths for us. So many paths.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's with just choices. That comes up a lot in.
It does. What they were just showing me was like, all of these paths, and walk down one, turn around, come back, walk down another
Yeah.
one, turn around, come back, walk down another one.
A choice is just a choice. That's all it is. If just because, so here, I don't know if I was talking to someone about this. Maybe it was you or somebody, or we did I don't know. Anyway, so choices are just choices. And just because it didn't turn out the way we expected it to, does not mean you made a wrong choice. There are no wrong choices. That was a lesson you needed to learn. And spirit graciously allowed you to take that path and fall on your face, or it blew up, or whatever. There
If it
are no
were only
wrong.
that easy to recognize that when it happens.
Yes. Yes. Well, that's why I have you.
And I have you.
Yes. But that whole choices thing is really big. Like,
Mhm.
choices are just choices. And we get so stuck in our way. I have to make the right choice. I mean, how many times like it just goes, you go around and around in your brain. I have to make the right choice. I have to make the right choice. I have to, oh my God, there's all this fear that's coming up and all this other stuff. And it's like, it's just a choice. Just make a choice. You will end up where you need to be for your highest good.
Right.
But just take that step. Just make that choice. And there is no wrong choice. Again, even if you fall flat on your face, things blow up, it hurts, it's painful, whatever, that
Yep.
wasn't the wrong choice. You needed that.
I remember having this conversation when going through a healing around my drinking.
Ah,
And
more about that.
yeah, I remember, um, I mean, this was a long while ago, that you did this healing for me, and I don't remember all of the specifics, but what
Oh,
they're bringing for me to, yeah, it was you had done a healing with me around my drinking.
okay. Okay.
Um,
I guess yeah, we've done a couple of those.
and I can remember talking about beating myself up about I kept choosing. I would say I'm not going to drink, and then I
Okay,
would
I know.
choose
Yep.
to drink.
Okay, it's coming back now.
Uh, I'd even write it down. I'd put it on the calendar. I'm not drinking today. And then I'd get home and I'd rip that off the calendar and pour a drink. And I kept choosing to drink.
Right.
And I remember in that healing, a choice is just a choice.
Yeah.
You learned what you needed to learn. It may have taken you longer than you wanted, or it didn't look the way you wanted. Um, but I did make the choice finally to stop
Yes.
and
Yes.
to move
And you were
forward.
ready, and you have not had a drop since then.
Nope.
We're ready.
I was ready. I was ready, Freddie.
Yes, ma'am.
But that in that healing and accepting the choice was just a choice, that didn't make me a bad person, that didn't make me immoral, it didn't even make me weak.
No, no, correct.
That was really huge in allowing the healing,
Yes,
um, from all of it.
right. Yes.
Mhm.
Now, I know that, or what's coming, I should say, is Well, I can use this on I can tell on myself. Okay. So as many times in my life as I have really cut down on sugar and pastry, because we all know that that's my addiction. And I can use it as an excuse. Well, it's a choice. I'll do it next time. I'll stop next time.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I'm using it, it's still a choice. Like I'm still, what's probably happening is I'm really not, I have not come to that resolve within myself yet to make that choice to stop. Spirit's going to continue to let me
Mm-hmm.
have pastry, have that sugar,
Mm-hmm.
and learn my lessons, and then feel gross after I just ate all of that. They're all still just choices, though. Choices are choices are choices.
Mm-hmm.
There really
I,
isn't right or wrong. You know that you eat that and you're going to feel like crap.
mm-hmm.
So there's your, if you want to call it a punishment, whatever, that's coming.
It's
So
coming.
I don't have to beat the hell out of myself because right now, because
Yeah.
it's coming, and I'm going to here in a few minutes after I feel sick after eating all of that.
Yeah. And I still today have the choice to go drink.
Yep.
I choose not to.
Right. Yay.
Um, would it be a wrong decision in the spiritual world? I'm forced to say no.
Are you wanting an answer? I'm just letting you
But in my brain,
just process it at the
you
moment.
know,
Yeah.
I think I'm actually processing this because I want to say that would be a wrong choice for me.
Right. Right. Right.
Um,
It would certainly be devastating. It
it
would be
would be
devastating to many of us.
devastating to so many. And this is part of the beauty of healing, of doing the healing,
Yes.
not only around the drinking, but the wounding that led me to the drinking.
Yes. Yes. Because
Um,
that's the piece, right? It's, I don't think, well, I don't know. I've never done a 12-step program or whatever the different programs are, but I don't think they always go deep enough into the why. And you have definitely gone into the why did I drink?
I can only speak for myself that it did not.
Right.
And
And not
I
go deep enough.
did not go deep enough. I had to get to the root if
Yeah.
I wanted to be if I wanted to be beyond sober.
I think, or I guess I should just ask, would that be why, possibly, now that nothing is absolute, but it could be why there are so many who fall off the wagon or whatever it is.
I believe
Because
so.
you can talk about now, so with it's not alcoholism, but with all my abuse, right? There was a long period of time. I can tell you everything that happened to me as a kid. I could tell you all my abuses. I could tell you about my mom, whatever. I could just go on and on about it.
Sure.
It was almost like I was talking about someone else.
Right.
That does not equal healed.
Correct.
That does not at all
Mm-mm.
equal being healed just
Not
because
at
I
all.
can tell you everything that happened. But for me, that was like the badge that said I'm good. Yep, look, I went through all that and I'm here now. I survived it. I survived.
Survived.
But I don't want to just survive. I want to live.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's really, I really started going deeper into all of that. So, and then healing and everything. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking why so many people fall off the wagon, whatever you want, make another choice,
Relapse.
go back, relapse. That's the word.
People relapse.
Yeah, they possibly, not always, but not going deep enough. They can talk about all their stuff,
Yep.
but that doesn't mean that they've healed anything. They just can talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of dissociate from it, really. In that stage of talking about it, you sort of dissociate yourself from, so you can talk
Mm,
about it so clearly without.
sure. I can see that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So healing not only the drinking, but what led me to the drinking was paramount.
Yes.
And there's no reason to drink anymore.
No, no, no.
No,
Mm.
not at all. Even in those times where I'm like, man, a glass of wine would go good with this dinner, or a cold beer would be so good with this pizza. I'm allowed that. I'm allowed.
Absolutely.
Um, I don't need to feel guilt. I don't need to feel
Nope.
shame.
Nope.
I don't even need to let it take me down the road of um, remorse.
Right. No.
I
Even
don't.
when it comes up, even us just a few minutes ago talking about Dina Colas and that amazing pizza. We can sit and reminisce. I was like, oh God, that pizza was so good. And that's okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I'm gonna go off my diet and run out and they're probably
Right.
not
Because
good anyway.
I can't eat gluten anymore. So even if
Right.
it's across the street from me, I couldn't go eat it.
No. But it's okay to have those memories. You don't have to wipe everything out because
Right.
now you can't do that anymore.
Right. I
Like,
can't have a glass of red wine with that steak and chocolate cake.
well, and I have to tell on you right now because it was
Okay.
really funny. So I'm not much of a drinker. It doesn't take long for me to just be just wiped out. So but I'll talk about I have a glass of wine. Like that's our Friday night is we have pizza and a glass of wine. And I can't tell you how often Mari-Lyn would laugh at me because you mean a bottle? It's like, no, a glass, like one glass, that's all. Or we had during Christmas at Costco, they have these fabulous, you can buy a case of wine, but they're half bottles. And they were I had the case out and we actually like to give them away for gifts, but also because we don't drink that much, if we waste some of it, it's just if we open the bottle and don't finish it. If you're watching Mari-Lyn right now, you can see that she's just like she doesn't get it at all.
No.
But she would call that because I had lifted one of the bottles up and it's a half bottle, and I said something about it. She goes, "Oh, a single serving." I just didn't even get it. I was like, "What? No, we share this." And she's like,
What?
"What?"
Yeah.
No,
Even
Pam, that's a single serving. I'm like, oh no, it's like
uh,
a couple
and
glasses here.
there is no tricking myself.
No,
Um, Even after over 13 years, there is no doubt in my mind.
yeah,
I have one sip, I'm having the whole
right,
kitchen turtle. I'm
right,
having it all.
yeah,
There's no stopping.
no.
No,
And you know
there's
what?
no stopping.
Honestly, if you were gonna go back to it, you might as well make it a good one. Like, why would you fall off the wagon or whatever for like just a shot? I mean,
Right?
you know,
Well, it wouldn't happen.
no, it would not happen.
It
No,
couldn't happen.
no,
There is there is no willpower in the world
no. That could
that
get me
I
up
could
and
take
down there.
one shot.
Yeah, yes.
It wouldn't happen.
What happened? And spirit has this vision of me like you going to take a shot and me flying across the room and just like tackling you and the brandy's going everywhere and I'm like oh, they show me the
Yeah,
slow motion
in slow motion.
just tackle you. No,
Yeah,
but
it
thankfully that will never be in either. That's just you know it's not in the plans. So
no.
yes, you okay? We brought something up for you.
The
I
feel
we who's we me I did it.
the reality of that statement, one shot.
Yes.
and I could not stop. The reality of that was so overwhelming.
That's truth. That's when it hits
Truth.
you right in that, we call it the space where our heart and our soul connects, in our heart space. That,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So for me, I can't say making the choice to drink would be a bad choice because it's not a choice.
Right.
I know I said earlier I have that choice. I don't.
Nope. Nope, you don't. No.
And I'm okay with that
Yes.
because that fear,
Yes.
um, that's
Sometimes
as real as it gets.
fear can motivate us. Fear can create good things in our life too, depending
Yes.
on the fear. That and I will add, you don't live with that fear all day long. Like, you don't, it is not like you just stopped drinking yesterday
Nope.
or whatever. And it's that, I'm sure those first few years were, I know we've talked about it, were really difficult.
I'm
And
gonna say the first 5 were hell. You want to talk about hell?
yeah. And I didn't know you then. So yes.
Hmm.
But I love who you are today, and I'm so grateful that you don't
Thank
drink.
you.
And
So
and
do I.
that's not something that I need. So you and I can, it's not like it, I don't have to have a friend who drinks, because it's no biggie to me. Like it's that's not something that I have to have, is
Right.
alcohol either. I can have my one glass
One
of
glass.
wine and I'm
Yep.
done for the night.
That's just it's yeah.
I just always
You
love
know
the look
what
in your face
you know
when
what
you're just
really
like,
gets me is being out and seeing somebody leave. They get one glass of wine,
oh, and they leave some of it.
half of it, and they leave like half the glass of wine. What? How is that a thing? My brain just cannot. My
Oh,
brain cannot
that is
comprehend it.
so funny.
Just cannot. And I'm
Why would you leave alcohol on the table? Yeah.
right. And yet I'm grateful that my brain can't wrap because yeah.
And that, now, one thing I do know, I've had many, when I used to do the big group meditations, I had a lot of people come who were former recovering alcoholics, drug addicts, whatever. And there was always a lot of laughter at those funny things, which I think is really beautiful and says something about how far you've come. Like, most of the people that would come had been, like lots of years,
Lots of years. Yep.
and they were able to laugh. Every once in a while, though, we'd have someone come in who was not able to laugh at it. And I remember thinking, ooh, this person is still pretty new, or something like that. Like they're still not quite healed enough to be able to laugh at it.
Hmm.
Yeah. But I do love that. And we we do joke about it sometimes, because you can't figure out how a half bottle we can just open one half bottle and we're good.
And you might not even drink the whole half a bottle. Like,
Waste some of it. Yes.
ooh, yeah.
Ooh, yeah. But for me, that's like eating like half a donut. Not even close. No. Like, if we were to go somewhere, and you can do this, because I put pastry in front of us and you take like one bite, and I'm like, what? I'm like, well, then can I have yours? Wait a minute, you can't leave that. So there's, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Woo. Well, I don't know where we started this podcast today.
Me either.
But it's fun.
We're usually pretty good about, taking a little turn and then we bring it back, and we take a turn and we bring it back, and
I'm sure it all made sense to someone out there, though.
I hope so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whew, I love our time.
What I want to say is I hope somebody saw my fear of the reality of drinking again and that it touched you.
Yes. I agree.
because
That was real. That
you
was
deserve
very
better.
real.
That was so real. That took me out for a
Yeah.
second.
Yes.
I could hear you talking. I have no idea what you were saying. Yeah.
Wah, 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 wah. Charlie Brown on the wah,
Charlie Brown. Yeah.
wah. Yes.
Woo.
Everything just sort of goes fuzzy and
Yep.
wah, 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 and you're in your
Yep.
stuff. Yes,
Yeah.
that happens.
Yeah. But periodically those reminders don't hurt my feelings.
No. And they're good to have those reminders once in
Yeah.
a while. Once in a while. And I do now I don't have pretty much Mari-Lyn is my only close friend who has an addiction. What I have seen in you though, even in just, I didn't know you in your drinking days. I didn't even know you the first, like those first five, I didn't know you then, when you really struggled and everything. But what I see now is such a strong woman who you don't, what I find very inspiring is that is something, alcohol for you is life and death, period.
Yeah.
Period. There is no gray area there, life or death. If you started drinking again, boom, that would be that.
That'd be it. Yep.
And your not only resolve, but the amount that you've healed your wounding, not just around the alcohol, all that prior to that, everything, it's really wonderful. Like, it's not even like we don't have to talk about it or think about, like, we go out all the time and we go to restaurants, we go here, we go there, whatever, and it's just not an issue. I've had, like, there have been times when, like, the one I could think of is this couple that my husband and I would go out with once in a while, and he had to quit. It was just always a thought. We had to always think of him, where we went or what was happening, that kind of thing, which I certainly never minded doing. But that's where he was, and we haven't seen them for a long time. But that's never even an option when you and I go out. I never think, oh, I want to make sure I don't go, like, not that we go to bars, but we don't even, but that's not even, I don't have to think, oh, well, I can't consider that place, that place, that place, or that place because they serve wine there or whatever.
Right.
That's just never something that comes up.
Mm-mm.
Ever. But
Nope.
you and I like to go out and have pancakes.
Yes, we do like to have pancakes. Gluten-free pancakes.
Oh.
There was a time where I had to be very conscientious about where I went, or I would get triggered.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
the triggering that would happen, now early on, yes, I would get triggered and want to drink.
Sure.
But especially in like years 3 to 5, I'm going to say, what would get triggered?
Mm-hmm.
The shame. The
Ouch.
shame would get triggered. And I would go into this self-loathing, horrible, awful place of just beating the crap out of myself for not being able to drink.
Oh, I see. Oh, that totally took a turn at the end for me.
Oh,
Not being able to drink part. That was like, whoop.
yep.
Oh, wow. Okay. Usually I can follow right along with you, and I know practice because just the connection that Mari-Lyn and I have, but that one was just came out of like, what? Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's a whole nother thing. I wonder if that would be a good next possibly podcast for you. Maybe put that on your list of for your
the beating myself up for not being able to drink.
For the not being able, I honestly, I never thought of that. I didn't. Yes.
Well, yeah, because if I can't drink, I'm an alcoholic. I can't drink. There's got to be something wrong with me.
Oh. And it goes past the just boo-hoo, I can't drink. There's
Oh yeah, it goes way past the boohoo, I can't drink. It goes to, I'm so inadequate as a human being that I don't belong on this earth.
that hurts my heart. That hurts my heart.
Yeah, it hurts mine too to say out loud that that at one point
Yes.
was how I felt.
To not to not know your worth. Not only not know it, not that wasn't even, your worth wasn't a consideration. Oh my goodness.
There was zero.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
And
Far
I'm
away.
gonna I'm gonna add that throughout all of those years of drinking,
Mhm.
I yeah, that's why it got so bad because there was no consideration of my self-worth.
Right. And that makes sense to me when you say, like, that makes sense to me. As you are drinking, you come home, whatever your thing is, however anyone does it, they go to a bar, they go home, they whatever, and they start
Right.
drinking. And at some point, I can feel that. Well, first of all, alcohol is a depressant, so that's not.
Oh, it's such a low vibration. Oh my,
Oh man. And I could see where you would get to that point where you would just feel like a piece of shit. And so I might as well just keep drinking. Oh, Mari-Lyn, that hurts me. And that is not the beautiful woman I know today. So
that is not who I have to be today.
no, no.
No.
And we could not have known each other back then. Our codependence would have it would have been so gross. Like it would have just been icky.
You you would not have tolerated me drunk.
Oh, okay.
No.
Well, I've heard some stories, so you're probably right about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd have chased you away. Yeah.
Yes. Well, thankfully, that is no longer an issue. And woohoo.
Yeah.
Yes. And props to your amazing husband who stood by you and supported you.
He
Yes.
did. And he does.
Yes, and he does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I
wow.
want to say thank you for helping me heal a lot of that wounding and all of the wounding around my drinking
Yes, you're welcome.
because there was no healing around my drinking until I met you.
Well, spirit will do that.
Hmm.
And spirit, as we all know, brings our teacher when we need it.
Very true.
We need that teacher shows up. And what that brings for me, and you are more than welcome. And I want to say how much of a energy, shared energy, whatever I'm trying to say, is I was given, since Mari-Lyn, my healing has gone up exponentially in how amazing my team's healings are.
Oh, yeah.
I have a spirit team. I have several
Yeah.
spirit teams, but it has, because Mari-Lyn was always the guinea pig. She was always like, "Yep, okay, what do you want to do with me today?" And
Followed up with, what have you done to me today?
so you and I both were in a fetal position, like, what just
Right? What just happened?
amazing? Yes. So
Really
it was
amazing.
really, and for all of you out there who are psychic, want to be psychic, wherever you are in that journey, you have to heal. And here is one of the reasons why. We only can hold so much energy. And if we are holding that dark, nasty, low vibrational energy, we do not have room for our gifts.
No.
That's why we heal. Well, that's one of the reasons. There are several reasons, but
Several reasons. But
that's
that's
the one that,
one.
yeah, we have to get rid of that And that our wounding, we are only as strong as our wounding. That's why we talk about those unhealed healers.
Mm-hmm.
You are way too wounded to be a healer.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, like when at the beginning, until you heal the majority really of your crap, of your traumas and woundings and such. You cannot, I don't know who I'm talking to, but there's someone and I can see them sitting there listening to this podcast. I want to be kind, but you think you're a good healer now? Oh, sister. You have no idea the healer you're going to be once you heal yourself. And I can say that from experience, as can Mari-Lyn. The healer I am today versus who I was, however, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, completely different. As you grow, as you heal, you are rewarded. And
yeah,
I'm going to stop there. It's an absolute reward, but you have to get rid of that stuff to get more. So people that tell you, psychics, healers, whatever that you go to or that that don't believe that healing is the number one thing, I would turn around and walk away from them in a heartbeat. Like that person, do not let them put their hands on you or read for you or anything. Yes.
Agreed.
Yes.
Agreed.
So anyway, I don't know who needed to hear that, but someone did, and I hope you heard that. Yes, because it is extremely important and experience, and you do have to continue to build on that and work and still do it. Mm-hmm. But if you're all up in your ego thinking you're all you got it made or you're really great or whatever, oof. Anyway, I know I have still a ton to do. I look forward to the day because I think my team is pretty damn good now. I mean, my team brings healings. I mean, they will knock your socks off.
Oh yeah.
I can only imagine 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, what kind of healings those are going to be. Yeah. Holy crap. I'm so looking forward to it. The evolution. Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. Yes.
Same. Yeah.
Anyway, yabba dabba dabba doo. I'm just, yes. Someone needed to hear that. And so for the rest of you that didn't, I'm sorry. Yeah. I
think, okay, there's not anybody that didn't benefit from hearing that.
Yeah. When spirit speaks. Yes. And I am so grateful and honored to be the conduit. And I always know, so typically we just, whoever's speaking through us is speaking through us. We know those high vibrational beings and we just go and we don't think it. There are those times though, when I know it's Fred. Like there is no doubt.
Yes.
This is Fred.
Yes.
Coming at you.
Yes.
Yes. Where it's directly, I feel like he, had his hand up my butt and he's like I'm a puppet and he's just talking, making me talk. So
yeah, absolutely. He comes to me as cowboy. Mm-hmm. Unless it's a direct message for Pam, he will come to me as Fred and say, okay, she's not listening to me. Would you please relay this? She's just not paying attention.
Yeah, that happens too often.
But yeah, for me too, there are times where no mistaken. It is cowboy. He is.
Yep. Like, he's got something to say to someone.
Yep.
And
Yep.
And preach it. Preach it.
Like earlier today, there was something that I needed to say to you.
Yep.
And it's like pushing on the back of my head. And I'm like, I better say it or pretty soon I'm going to start getting slapped.
Slapped around.
That was cowboy.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh,
Part of, well, and that's a whole nother situation that I was, blah, not going there. We don't have time to go there. We're getting close to, I think, to the end here, and I don't want to start a whole new thing. We'll do
a
it.
whole new topic.
Yes, next,
Woo!
yes, we will do that.
Yeah.
So this has been really wonderful. This has been a fun day.
So that's been fun. Yeah.
And we appreciate all of you who have tuned in. And again, if you're new, welcome. And you can find out all about us wherever you're listening from. There's, a list of our, how to get a hold of us and find out what we do and who we are and all of that. And we always love to hear from you. So whether this is, you're watching this on YouTube, certainly feel free to leave a comment or email. Or if you're listening, our audience is getting bigger in our on our podcasts.
In the podcast world, it is.
And we get to hear from many new people, which is just amazing. And I have to say, it's still amazing when I'll ask them, well, where'd you hear from us? Well, your podcast. They were just looking for a podcast and they
found us.
That's just decided to listen. I know.
Blows
I
my
know.
mind.
I know.
Blows my mind.
Yes. It used to blow my mind when that happened on YouTube, but that happens more, or, that's
right.
Like, that doesn't shock me anymore. But now that, because this is fairly new, the podcast piece, and always grateful though. Always grateful no matter where you find us. It doesn't.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It is so
and if you are listening and you want to reach out to us, the website is theconsciousspirit.net is the podcast.
Yes.
TCSEverydayPsychics.com.
TCSEverydayPsychics.com.
Yeah.
Yes. I just had to say it again.
Yeah, that's good because I kind of said it really fast.
But even if you go to theconsciousspirit.net, you can still get to us.
You can get to us. Yeah.
Yes. So we are so grateful. I'm just all filled with yummy spirit energy right now, I'm not spirit drunk, unfortunately, but which is the best drunk. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Nothing like that.
Yeah. I am not spirit drunk either. I
feel really good.
I am pretty high vibrational.
Yeah.
I am at a high vibration, but there is this level, that reality that hit me. It's still running right through me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm in, because that totally landed for me when you said that. It's like, yep, that's what I feel too.
Yep.
In different ways, I'm sure, for both of us.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do want to throw something in here at the end. Those of you who watch our paranormal channel on YouTube, which is TCS Everyday Psychics, we have brought back, by popular demand, we've just changed it, our ghost point of views. So, but we only want 10-minute clips. So send us either email or comment, whatever. 10 minutes. So if you're watching some ghost hunting video or whatever video that they have some sort of energetic something going on, some paranormal, and you want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
Send us the name. You can send us the whole clip but the link to the whole video, but tell us what 10-minute clip, 10 minutes or less, that you'd like us to look at, and we will review that for you.
We will.
Yes. So
we will. Yeah.
So anyway.
All right.
Thank you so much. We love you all so very much.
So grateful that you have tuned in, and we hope you tune in next time.
Yes. We try to get one out every Tuesday, on the
podcast.
The audio every Tuesday. Yeah. So okay. Thank you, everyone.
All right.
See ya.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.